And I also know you've been a supporter of higher education throughout your career, and of course, education is an integral part of creating jobs and training a workforce for those employers, especially in the technical areas, to have employees ready when they do locate here. Our community colleges, as well as our institutions of higher learning, play a critical role in that area. Would you care to comment on that?
Well, it was fun. The first day or so on the job, I had some students from Tidewater Community College come through and explain what they were doing in their fields of study, and the opportunity that community college gave them to live at home and to have a lower cost initial education or technical education. When I say initial, I mean the first 2 years being at a lower cost college before they go on to one of our great Virginia four-year colleges. And I guess most of the voters know that I too am a product of the community college system in my hometown in western Kentucky, called Paducah Community College, and the students got a good laugh at that, that I was a PCC graduate and then went on from my little community college, where I got a great foundation, was able to live at home, work, and save some money, so that I was then able to finish the last 2 years at University of Kentucky in Lexington. So I'm a big fan and believe in community college. And you know, one of the messages that I left those young people is, never let someone look down upon you because you came from a community college. You have as good a foundation educationally as anyone. I've had people from Harvard and Princeton and USC and you name it that have worked for me, and we all have good educations, and it's really the performance in the workplace that sets the tone. And so I really want to encourage those that wonderful group of students that came over from Tidewater Community College.
And of course, the community colleges are important for those adults who have lost their jobs and need to be retrained.
Yes, and there were a couple of folks in the group that had those same experiences, and that's really outstanding. There's a lot of good news stories that come from that facility. It's a wonderful asset for our community, and we need to continue to support our community college. Also had a wonderful opportunity to meet with the Old Dominion University and get to know those folks better, and certainly the colleges are going to be challenged. We worry about retaining our professors, our wonderful professors that we have. I worry about that and making sure that they're paid competitively. It is a huge issue for us, and but there's still going to be another couple of tough years. I was on the board of visitors at William & Mary, was the vice rector, and we worked very hard to retain the outstanding faculty and staff that we had there.
Yeah, and as a result of cuts at both the community college level and with our institutions of higher learning, unfortunately, tuition may go up.
That is an unfortunate consequence. Some view that as a tax, but you know, from a reality perspective, it means that students often have to increase their hours that they're working to be able to pay for the tuition, which makes it harder for them to carry the load that they need to stay on as a student, and then we lose students. So it is a sad fact. I would just encourage these students, though, to invest in your future as a student. You know, do what you have to do in these tough economic times to finish that education, to go on to the higher learning education or technical education that you strive for. It's just vital, and you know, these times will pass. Our economy will improve. We will create jobs. You know, America is the hope of the world. Everyone wants their piece of capitalism and their piece of America because it works. And so we're going to have ups and downs in our economy. In 1978, when I got out of college, you may remember, Woody, it wasn't a great time then either. We bought our first house and interest rates were up as high as 18%. That's like buying your home on a credit card. And that was very hard to do. But we had high gas prices in those days. When we were paying over $1 a gallon for gas, we thought we were paying a lot, and sometimes it had gotten even well beyond that. So these times do come and go. No one likes them, and we have to focus on our core principles of capitalism, creating jobs, trusting entrepreneurs, people that have an opportunity and a dream to build a business, because those people then will hire large numbers of employees and give a good service to our country and to our economy. So, you know, that's the system we have, and we have to maintain that even in these tough economic times.
And of course, the foundation for that are our K through 12 schools. And I'm sure you're hearing from your local school boards about the concerns they have about future cuts, maybe larger classrooms, less support personnel, and things of that nature.
All of that, and then even some delays on capital expenditures. As we know, we in some communities need new facilities as well. So all these are going to be tough issues over the next year or two, and again, more is going to have to be done with less. And we have some extremely hardworking teachers and administrators in our schools in Virginia Beach, and they've done an outstanding job. And you know, the wonderful asset that we have in Virginia that will have to be maintained, even though we're going to have a tough period, are our fine institutions of learning. I mean, throughout, you know, we continue to be rated year after year, our colleges in particular, very high regarding the rest of the country. And so that is something that as legislators, once we get through this tough time, we'll have to return to the aggressive funding of those institutions of higher learning.
So there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think there's room for a lot of optimism. Of course, you've got some tunnel issues in the district you represent, and I know transportation and public safety as it relates to those tunnels is an important issue to you.
It really is. You know, we really focused in the campaign on jobs and on transportation and on the cost of government. And we've talked this morning a lot about jobs and the tax credit opportunity that we're talking about, the Governor's Opportunity Fund. The other thing that I'm trying to do is look at, now that we have, you know, lower revenues than we've had in the last several years, by law we have to balance the budget, which means we have to make the expenses match the revenues, which is why we're going to have to push so hard for, you know, cuts across many programs and virtually every program in state government. I do hope that as we come out of this, we can look at transportation being one of the top priorities for future expenditures. And so I would like to look at, and I'm looking at a bill and working on it to see if it has a shot of passing, that would suggest that as we come out of this tough time economically and as revenues grow, we predetermine a significant percentage of our new revenues to go towards transportation. I think that's one of the few ways we're going to work out of this hole that we have in needing probably $1 billion a year or more to deal with maintenance and upkeep as well as new projects. So it's a tremendous challenge for us as a state. It's a jobs issue. It's a national security issue with our tremendous military resources we have down at Hampton Roads. And it's certainly a quality of life issue and a tourism issue. So it really affects all aspects of our economy.
Now that's going to be a really tough challenge because we've got so many needs around the state that someone's going to have to set some priorities.
Yes.
And how do you go about doing that?
Well, it's first done at a regional level. The federal government has created organizations that it recognizes that are organizations of community leaders, mayors of communities, chairs of supervisory boards, state legislators as well. We have one headed up by Will Sessoms, who is our mayor in Virginia Beach, who heads it up for the Hampton Roads community. And that organization is challenged with a prioritization process. And quite frankly, that is something I think that has been a bit lacking in Hampton Roads, that we have to prioritize projects. When I started in the campaign and began to talk to people about our transportation issues, it became clear to me that we have lots of needs, but we have to boil it down to number one and number two. And so I think that that group is working hard to try to accomplish that. You know, I'm a fighter. I think we have some other good fighters up here, and we want to fight for roads and for the roads there, but we need to know what the community's priorities are. I think that's the community's responsibility to set those priorities. I don't think it's just my responsibility or the other legislators here. I think it's a broader group of people that should set those priorities, and once agreed to, we should all really work hard to accomplish them. But you know, we have a new governor now. We have new energy, and so I think that we have a chance to, once prioritized, to really try to get our fair share of the transportation dollars in our part of the community, which hasn't happened.